Hello and welcome to Conversations with Rupi. It gives me great pleasure to bring you this series. It's basically just me having conversations with the people who I have connected with, who I've had interesting conversations with, and whose energy has literally matched my energy, and we have connected from the word go. So the person who I am going to bring you today is a very dear friend. When I say very dear friend, it literally has taken us just 2 meetings to have that connection. She lives on the other side of the world and I'm in London. She's in Australia. We met just over, I think, 2 years ago physically. And before that, we have been interacting on the social media platform through our business mentor, which we were both at one point in that program. And literally the conversations we have had have connected us on not just a physical level, but on a soulful level as well. And it always leaves me feeling completely refreshed, completely energized, and completely, literally as if, my soul has just been pumped with all that energy. So it gives me great pleasure to bring you Sally, my dear friend from Australia, all the way on the other side of the world. Welcome, Sally. Welcome. How have you been?
Blessings, and thank you so much for the invitation to share some awesome time with you. It's been an interesting time, hasn't it, to connect, and for us again to meet not that long ago in the UK, having some awesome exchanges of what could be revealing for both of us, just more so probably from a personal perspective, and then translating into this whole global perspective. It's just a really interesting time. So thank you so much for the opportunity again, and we'll see what reveals. Let's play. Let's have some fun.
So a little bit more introduction about you. So you are literally, you like to call yourself a cosmic energy guide on Earth, and literally just speak in terms of space because you connect with that very beautifully, apparently, not just through personal level, but on your work level as well. Sally specialize in awareness and insight to the medical, legal business, property, interior, residential, commercial, and landscape, sales, leasing, and design, as well as the metaphysical paradigms. My God, Sally, is there anything which you don't do?
It was interesting when I was writing that.
Yes, covering all of the cosmic energy. So is there anything which you don't do, Sally?
It's very interesting, isn't it? As I was reflecting on all of that in response to your prompts, I guess, your questions, it's very much a oneness for me now. It's who I be in the totality of where I am and where I show up.
Yeah.
What the specific, I suppose, tangibles, if you like, the genres that were highlighted, I guess they are aspects of the environments that I've actually engaged with, which has expanded me in so many different ways. How also it's been very grounding because the day-to-day that humans relate as being successful, viable, credible, and all of these other ways of validating, your particular being, I suppose, and the value that you bring to humanity in itself. So, but for me now, it's really the oneness I am, and there's no separateness in any of it really. So it's like wherever you show up, guidance flows through us all, and whether we acknowledge that or not consciously is choice. For me, it's guidance all day, every day, always, in all ways. And so, again, responding to you here now, it's very much in flow of there is no separateness. This conversation's been predetermined, if you like, in my view of my world.
Yes, completely agree
with
that. Cannot even say, slight no to that, because I know whatever comes into your world, it has been predetermined, and you've created those conversations even probably at the time of your birth when you were charting out your soul plan or your life's journey before you entered this realm of the physical realm. So you say that you literally you empower your light, shining more specifically on the interplay between paradigms and the personal space, our heart space, what casts a shadow and what lights it up. So what lights Sally's heart up?
Sally's, and I'm going to be speaking in the third person a little bit here or there, so that's just how it rolls.
Absolutely.
So Sally to me is quite an enigma. Her energy is something that I just enjoy observing.
Yeah.
So for me to be in Sally's space is a privilege. It's an invitation to actually experience that aspect of self.
Yeah.
And again, she's one with me, so however you can interpret that, please allow that to be with ease and be in the allowance of how this is all unfolding, if that be okay with you.
Yeah.
So what lights Sally up is really what I hear myself say a lot. Things like, I leave no stone unturned in terms of my journey in this life. And for me, there is no such thing as an external journey. It's all an internal journey. And it's a contract that I've made with myself, an agreement that I have made with myself that I'm honouring to the absolute nth degree, not negotiable.
Perfect.
The other part is magic walking. And that, again, was something that, as some of you who've been following me on Instagram and Facebook have noticed, that I've reverted back to talking about my child, my inner child stuff lately.
Yes.
And we'll get back to that when we talk about the journey, the recent travel journey. However, what that allows me to do often is actually reflect back to who I came here as, who I actually innately be. Because as we know, from that age group of birth to that 7-year-old roughly benchmark, as it's defined academically, there are filters that become imposed upon us. We embody, we assume, we project, we relate, come to own to some degree as ours, purely because we trust what we trust as a child.
Yeah.
And so all of that coming into play now has come full circle in this lifetime already, multiple times. Wow. And that for me highlights the fact that we're very much on a vortex journey. It's not a linear timeline experience for any of us, whether we choose to acknowledge that or not. It seems like every cycle, for me, it's seasonal. I'm very attuned with the seasons on this earth plane particularly, and that's my resonance in terms of what I allow myself to be in that summer energy versus then going into the autumn energy and then the hibernation winter energy, and then the spring as in the rebirth. What I use a particular template for all of this, as well as the seasons, because that aligns me with where I am, which is on Earth. I could be anywhere. I astral travel, I do all these other amazing things, which allows me to bring the wholeness of me on every level, every body, if you like. So we have an inner body, we have a physical body, we have an etheric body, we have an astral body, we have all these other bodies that are us, who we are. And for me, it's being in the awareness of all of it concurrently. Else things start to go skewed. Things feel missing. Something's what am I missing here? What am I missing here? And we ask ourselves a question that we don't often realize why we're asking. It's not that anything's missing as such. What am I not tuning into? What have I left behind somewhere in my encompassing the wholeness of me?
Perfect.
And I think the timing for this is perfect, because more than ever before has humanity been paused.
Yes.
And whilst we perceive it as being external forces or something that is infiltrating our psyches, our physical self, it really is us saying enough.
Yeah. I completely agree with that, because, I think we as human race reached a point where we couldn't run any faster. We couldn't run any further. And we
couldn't hide anymore.
We couldn't hide anymore.
Hiding bit. No. Everything is now totally transparent and exposed, which is such a cool place to be. Because when we look back to the child and who is Sally, she's always known this. She's always walked the path on the planet as being all-knowing in an egotistical way, all-knowing in that I am very assured about who I am and why I'm here. More that I question that has been in my latter years, where the infrastructure that I've somehow adopted as being what sustains me has had to fall away. And again, we'll tap into that a little bit more in one of your next questions, because that's in context of that.
Yeah.
So I'm as an observer of Sally, always.
Perfect. So what would you say are your beliefs which probably you have let go? And if I was to ask you your top 5 values, what would those be for you, Sally?
It's, again, this may or may not be in the frame of normal expressions of value.
Yeah.
For me, I live my life as magic walking. I'm this magical being who is energized, who is vibrant, has my own magnetism and repulsion strategies and all of those sorts of things. The ebbs and flows of me are totally magic, and I walk. That's it. To allow myself
Yeah.
to